prepared yet. I mean,
Fantastic.
Yes, Karima,
Thank
we
you,
can hear
everyone.
First of all, I would love to thank Africa Voices Dialogue for permitting creating this great space for meeting, for exchanging ideas, for collaborating, and creating beauty. Today, I am so proud to inaugurate the first dialogue around heritage and equity. That is co-hosted by Africa Voices Dialogue and the network, this baby network that has been growing during 2 years. We are committed in this network to collect, research, and harness our African rich heritage for fostering values of equity, understanding, mutual respect, peace building, and also we want to also contribute to improving learning and education and promoting it based on our heritage. And the experience has been so wonderful because we have been also convening to shed light on experiences in our continent of teachers and NGOs, civic educators who use heritage for fostering such values. And today, at this time of uncertainty, time of sad events here and there, we would love to open this dialogue today for exchanging feelings and ideas and experience and how we can build a peace in our diversity and differences, regardless of who we are or where we come from. But what is important is that we contribute to creating a better world. And I would love to thank the key members of this network and collaborators and partners, Bramble Network and Omucho Arts, with whom we have been doing great work. And also would love to welcome our speakers today, Jamila Herrad from Temkin Foundation for Human Development, this marvelous community facilitator, and also the members of Kafila for the teacher of the future, Ilham Himmish, Safa, Saran, and Ardwan Ben Musa, primary school teachers who I am proud to listen to sharing their experience around the use of heritage for fostering equity and peace building in their classes with their marvelous children. I would love also to
Karima,
yeah.
Excuse me. Just adjust your computer a little bit so that we can see your face very well. Adjust your computer just a little bit so that because we don't see your face very well. So could you just adjust the computer?
Okay, like this?
Exactly. Yes.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Okay, I would love to greet also our marvelous Nwabushi Judon from FAPROS NGO, who's showed his excitement in a commitment to participate in this dialogue, and I also would love to share to send love
and so powerful as well. Karima, if you are able to just share a little from what you heard, and just give us the sense of what Jamila has shared with us today.
Yes, thank you, Robin, and thank you, Jamila. Actually, I will be very brief. What Jamila has talked about Temkin's initiative. It's a Moroccan association that tries to build an ecosystem of living in peace and promoting peace inside Tangiers. But inside Morocco as well. And the initiative that she has talked about that relates to equity, the Equity Hub, refers to the use of a story that comes from the heritage of Morocco. It's a story of the grasshopper. It's a story that we used to share in families, that our moms and our friends, we used to play with our friends, members of the family. And the story that Jamila talked about is a story that was used as an activity in one school at the beginning, where the children were they get together and they just play the game by telling the story of the grasshopper who has been through difficult times, who has been subject to probably to violence, and through the interpretations that the students gave the story, so that they could probably relate through their lives and the experiences at school, especially when they talked about their some of them started talking about how they were subject to bullying or violence, and the story started in one school, as I said, but then they expanded it to other schools where they had an ecosystem of students and teachers getting together and using the grasshopper story to talk about heritage, but at the same time to see how the students would interpret the story and how that would relate to their own lives. And the implications that they got through the first experience in the school was put in a video, and that video was used in other schools where the students would engage in activities of play, but at the same time draw implications for peace. And that's in short, in brief, and as Jamila said, the implications were huge, very, very interesting, and very enriching in terms of building peace and creating resolutions for conflict, but at the same time giving those students voice to talk in front of, so everyone, they started feeling at ease talking about their experiences and without shying away from sharing stories of being bullied or being subject to violence. So that's what Jamila generally said, and I'm sure that if I forgot something, probably Jamila can add it. Jamila?
بغيت غير نأكد هي هذه التجربة هذه على القصة اللي عشناها، هي خلقت نتيجة تفكير مع مجموعة أساتذة بالمستقبل بمشاركة مع منصة Learning Planet. هنايا كان التفكير من طريقة واللي كانت نقولوا حنايا الاختيار ولا الاقتراح ديال القصة من التراث الشعبي اللي جرادة ملحة، واللي نقولوا حنايا كانت هي كمنتوج فني إبداعي، ولكن في علاقته مع المفهوم ديال السلام كيفاش كنعيشوه، وما كان ماشي في الصيغه العامه ديالو ولكن حتى في الخصوصيه ديالو، يعني في المستوى مثلا المدارس الابتدائيه ها كيفاش كنفهم انا السلام، وها كيفاش ممكن ان نشارك باش نحقق مفهوم بالسلام وفق نقولوا حنايا المؤسسه التربويه، وكذلك هي كيفاش نخرجوا بهذا المفهوم هذا خارج اسوار ديال المؤسسه. بالحق النقاش كذلك هو كان قبل ما يكون مع التلاميذ هو كأساتذة شنو خلق، يعني هذه القصة هذه شنو هذه التجربة هذه كيفاش ساهمت باش يكون واحد النتيج ما بين حتى الأساتذة بحد ذاتهم يعيشوا هذا تكافؤ الفرص، لأن ما كانوش عندنا غير أساتذة فقط من الحضري، كانوا عندنا أساتذة اللي هما من القرى اللي كانت الظروف مختلفة، بالحق ما شافوش يقولوا حنايا بان الظرف مختلف، ولكن انطلقوا من الامكانيات اللي كاين. كانوا عندنا الاساتذه اللي نقولوا حنا المؤسسه ما فيهاش بزاف او الامكانيات ما كانتش بزاف، مع التلاميذ كان التفكير كيفاش ممكن نقولوا حنايا نخلقوا هذا الحدث في المؤسسه باش تكون حتى حنايا عندنا الفرصه ديال المشاركه في واحد المنصه اللي هي منصه دوليه. دونك هي الفكره بسيطه، التجربه بسيطه.
في انتظار كريمة، في انتظار البارتاج أو نتسناك تبارتاجي أو نسترسل الفكرة.
Can you see my
Not yet.
Not yet.
باقي.
Okay, we'll try.
نشوف كريمة الرجل كيحاول يدخل.
This. Can you see it now?
No.
Can you see? Can you see my screen?
No.
Not yet.
How can I do this? Zoom. Share screen. I will try again. Continue, Ilham.
I actually tried to find a translation of the song and the story, but unfortunately I haven't been able to. I'm not sure if you have, Karima, if you have already found one translation of the story of that grasshopper or locust, or salt locust, or salty locust, who is moving from one field to the other, and that's what the story says. It's like we used to play it the way we used to play this. I'm not sure if this is in the video that you're going to share, but we used to put our hands like this, and then each one points at each one's hand, and then we go on round and until the story ends. But it's something that almost every Moroccan has sung and played at home with his family, and sometimes there is the family together, the parents with the kids together, sitting around and singing the song and playing the game of the salty locust or salty grasshopper, who is moving from one field to the other, and like someone is talking to the grasshopper, telling her, "Hey, salty grasshopper, where have you been? What have you been up to?" And the grasshopper answers, "I was in a field, well, flying from one field to another, and eating. I'm not sure, eating apples and something else. I'm not sure what the other word is, but there is that word that I don't even understand now. We used to just say it. So apples and eating apples and eating something else. But the story, I know that the story is, what I've found is that the story is longer than what we used to sing.
For over 4 years, and we have learning communities, we have learning spaces where we teach youth and children and different categories of people. So one of the ways we foster equity, empathy, using our local heritage is through exchange programs. So we have exchange programs among people from other countries, and we also encourage our learners to join people and fellow learners from other countries, so they learn about their culture over there. They converse virtually. They learn about the food abroad, and the people abroad also learn about our food. And also in our own local communities, we from time to time foster conversation in our learning community about culture. So with us, we have people from different countries and even different ethnic groups in Nigeria. So it makes the learning community big. So everyone learns from one another. We also had a research around different cultures in Nigeria at the time, and we foster conversations around local heritage, culture, where our learners learn about food, the clothing, and the different practices that is unique to each culture. And another way we also make sure that our learners and our learning community also appreciate culture and develop empathy and the understanding of other people's culture is through art. There is a very symbolic artwork in our learning space that we call the Peace Wall. It's a mural. So it's a very beautiful wall that when visitors from other places come to our learning space, they ask questions. What is this about? And we tell them it's the Peace Mural. And it encourages conversation. That's how we build conversation around peace. People ask questions. We also ask them about their perspective, about our culture, about peace, about how to foster peace in different cultures. So these are some of the ways we encourage conversations around our local heritage, and actively we make sure that our learners teach one another. I would like to cite a small example about one of the sessions we had in our learning space. We had our learners talk about a particular ethnic group in Nigeria, which is the Igedes. They have the culture, like they move from one place to the other because they are usually farmers and cattle rearers. So usually, because of the nature of their work, most of their children don't get to complete their session with us. So there's always a difference and a gap between within learning. So we had to consciously create a conversation around that in learning space so that other learners will understand the culture of the Igedes, and also give allowance to the learners to be able to teach their colleagues when they come back from their long journey of rearing cattle or even farming. So that way we have been able to encourage our learners to learn about the culture of others and also feel what they feel, like be a part of their culture, because when they learn, they're able to immerse themselves in that culture and also pick a thing or two that can help them grow. And we also encourage them to learn from different countries, different cultures. And this not only builds them into people who are exposed, they're also confident and they learn to appreciate culture. And they speak about the culture of others and appreciate it so well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Esther. How beautiful. Aziz, I would really appreciate, well, we all, I think, maybe if you could just capture briefly for Jamila and for Ilham and Mohammed, I think you are fine, but just if you want to capture that briefly, if you could.
I'm so sorry, Robin, because I was away for a while. I missed part of what Esther talked about. If Karima can do that, if she's still with us.
Surely. Let's try, Karima. I know that you said you are battling a little bit with your sound.
Otherwise, I can do it.
Or Fella, if Fella would be so kind, you may be able to help us briefly, if you don't mind being put on the spot.
Well, if Esther can just briefly state the implications of what she said, I can translate them immediately. Okay, Esther?
Right. Thank you, Abdulaziz. The implication of all of this is that our learning community get to understand the culture of others beyond their environment. So they get to learn about other people's culture, and they in turn become people that are empathic, and they are also involved in peace building because they understand what peace is in different cultures. Did I answer your question, Abdulaziz?
Yes, of course. I heard you when you talked about Nigerians telling the stories of the ethnic group. So I will try to translate very, very quickly in Arabic. إستر تكلمت على كيفاش الحوار ما بين ثقافات متنوعة يقدر يغني السلام والتعايش، وهي تحدثت في الحق على كيفاش في مجموعة ديال التلاميذ كيقدروا يحاولوا انهم يحكيو قصة ديال واحد نسميو حنا مجموعة إثنية، يعني ethnic group اللي عندهم ثقافة مختلفة، وكيفاش ملي كيعاودوا القصة على واحد المجموعة اللي عندها ثقافة مختلفة كيقدروا يخرجوا من المحيط ديالهم، يعني من المحيط المحدود ديالهم اللي هما فيه، وينفتحوا على ثقافات اخرين ويحاولوا انهم يبنيوا السلام من خلال الحوار الثقافي. هذا عامة شنو قالت إستر. So thank you, Esther. I have translated almost that implication that you've shared with us. Is there anything you want to share, Esther? from the stories you shared about the learning, how, for example, that is used in schools.
Maybe I continue from there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Maya.
Yeah. Hi. So to add to what Esther had shared, the example she gave was around a particular one of the ethnic groups that we have in our learning community. So we're in a place where, in a very diverse community, where there are learners from different ethnic groups. We also have learners from 2 other countries aside Nigeria. So in order to honor this diversity, we ensure that regardless of whichever ethnic groups you are from, we learn about each other's culture. So through our food, the way we dress, you know, our languages, and even the simple way of life. So one of the ethnic groups we have in the community, they live a nomadic lifestyle, which means that from time to time, they are moving around, either because of farming or because they need to herd their cattle. So this also means that the implication is that it affects the way the children from these ethnic groups, the way they learn. So we have some of them as learners in our community learning center. And sometimes they have to join their family to go away for some weeks. You know, this is a very important part of their culture. So by the time they come back, it also means that their learning has been, you know, affected in a little way. Maybe they have missed out on some sessions. So in order to, you know, when they come back, then maybe some other learners are, you know, they have more information than them and all of that. So we had to like have a dialogue and help everybody to understand the culture of this particular group. You know, what moving around means to them, you know, what is the significance and all of that. And help the learners that are, you know, that were available to appreciate that aspect of their culture. And so that when these children come back, they are able to offer, you know, they are very empathetic towards them, and they are able to share whatever they have done while they were away with them. And we've seen how that, you know, has switched relationship, you know. Initially, instead of laughing at them and say, oh, you know, you people are cattle herders, you people are nomadics, you know, you just live and, you know, you just leave the learning space. It has helped them to really appreciate this ethnic group and say, oh, you know, this is your culture and we honor it. So that's that. I would
yes,
also
I will translate that part very quickly, and then I'll get back to you. Thank you, Adonaya.
Okay. Yeah.
فيمكن أنا الحاجة الوحيدة اللي ما تحدثتش عليها وهي شنو هو النوع ديال الأحاسيس اللي كيخلقوا هذا الحوار هذا ديال الثقافات. فهو كيخلق تعاطف و يعني صراع بالآخر وكذلك التقرب من الآخر. فأذناي حكت لنا على كيفاش هما كيكونوا في المجموعة ديال المتعلمين كينتميوا لثقافات مختلفة، وفي الحوار كيشتركوا كيفاش هاد الثقافات هذه كتختلف في الأكل وفي اللباس باش كل واحد تيتعرف على ثقافة الآخر. إذا كيديروا واحد الحوار حول الثقافات واختلاف الثقافات، وبالأساس كيركزوا على واحد المجموعة اللي هي معاهم في المركز ديال التعلم اللي هما فيه، معاهم واحد المجموعة ديال الأطفال عائلات ما يسمى بعائلات الرحال. وحنا عندنا في المغرب نفس الشكل، يعني حنا عندنا واحد المجموعة ديال الرحال اللي هما كيرحلوا كيرجعوا لواحد المكان اللي مرة كيرجعوا ليه، اللي هو هذا المركز هذا ديال التعلم اللي قالت عليه أذنايو، بحيث أنهم كيرجعوا كيتعلموا، ولكن هذاك الوقت اللي كيكونوا كيرحلوا فهما كيضيعوا واحد المرحلة من التعلم ديالهم. ولانهم رحال فالاطفال الاخرين كيبانوا لهم على اساس انهم غير رحال وما كيقراوش اكسترا، ولكن من خلال الحوار كيتعلموا هذوك الاطفال اللي هما ماشي رحال على ان هذوك الاطفال راه مضطرين انهم يرحلوا باش يلقاو الكلاء الماشيه ديالهم، فما كيقدروش يجلسوا في مكان واحد، ولكن ملي كيمشيو فخصهم يرجعوا عاد خصهم يتعلموا اكثر. والاطفال الاخرين كيبداو يفهموا هذيك الثقافه ديال الرحال، وكيبداو يتعاطفوا معاهم، وكيبداو انهم كيحبوا ديك الثقافه ديالهم او لا الى بريسي ديك الثقافه ديالهم. هذا الشيء اللي قالت أودونايو. Thank you Odonayo, you can go on.
Thank you very much. I actually loved listening to that language. So I would also like to add that one of the ways that we have embraced, culture and heritage at the learning space is there's this popular speech by an author called Chimamanda Adichie, where she spoke about the danger of a single story and how that has really affected us as Africans, or maybe Nigerians to be specific. Many times what people know about us is, one single story that the media is projecting. And that also affects even our young children. We see that many people don't really know their history. They don't really have a strong sense of identity rooted in their culture and heritage. We see that many times
بالهويه ديالنا او الايدنتيتي ديالنا. هذا بخلاصه اللي قالت أودن. Back to you, Robin.
Thank you, Aziz. That was absolutely wonderful and so inspiring to hear the work of Bramble Network. And what we would love to do now is Sibo on the call still? I'm just not seeing them. All right. So I think looks like Sibo has fallen off, which is such a great pity, because the work of Umucho Art in the Naki Valley community is phenomenal, really, really remarkable as well. But perhaps, Judith, you were keen to share a little bit about Kenya University and how, and your approach and your take on the use of heritage. Would you like to share your thoughts a little?
Thank you, Robin. Yes, I'm Judith Wafula from Lukenya University, that's in Kenya, on the southeastern part. At Lukenya University, we have our cultural week. That we have made that to be our tradition. That every January semester we have a cultural week. That is in March. So during the cultural week, students showcase and even staff showcase the different traditions that we have. We'll have traditional dances, we have traditional foods, we have folk songs. So like we have students from different communities at the university. So each community would prepare a traditional food, folk songs, a traditional dance, and they would have the final day. That is the whole week. We have cultural activities, even the dress. Like each day, we decide on which kind of dress people should wear, depending on our traditional wears. And then on the Saturday of the week, now we have the main function where we gather together and we have these presentations of all these the different foods, the dances, it goes until very late in the night. So at least with this we have the younger generation that was not aware about their tradition, getting to learn to know more, and then it unites us, our different tribes, people from different areas. We are united through this cultural week activities. So we realize that every community is has its own values, it has its culture, and they are positive. There are a lot of positive things about other people's culture. So that's key to us. Another way we do, we encourage even equity and that peace, unity is through the community projects that we take to them. When we have any project within the university, we have to take it also to the community. Like we have a tree project, we are also taking it to the community to ensure mitigation of climate change. And at the same time, we give them fruit trees, trees that can be able to improve their livelihoods. And that way we reduce on conflicts in homes. Another project we have is on mentorship. We mentor our students, and in that manner, what happens is that we build the value system within the university through those mentorship programs. Okay, I'm trying to go faster because I know time is, there are people who want to contribute, so I'm moving a bit fast. We also
feeling really inspired, not only by what you have shared, but just by your beauty as you share it.
Thank you.
And so Aziz, I don't know if you could quickly cover that, but then we will come to Bramble, to Sifu and Sibo and Aspire and all of our wonderful friends at Bramble Network.
Robin, maybe before Aziz chips in, maybe also to add on what Judith Wafula has said. You see, we always preserving the culture through wearing our flag. Like this one, which I've worn for the last 10 years on my hand. So that's another way of also preserving the African culture. Very proud of it. Thank you, Judith.
Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. So Aziz, a quick translate for us.
Yes, sure. جوديث تحدثت على الجامعة ديالهم وكيفاش هما في الجامعة عندهم واحد أسبوع ثقافي في كل دورة. خلال كل دورة عندهم أسبوع ثقافي كيلتقيو فيه كيديروا فيه أنشطة ثقافية تتكون فيها حكايات شعبية وتتكون فيها أنشطة مثل الرقص وكيستعرضوا فيها يعني التنوع الثقافي اللي عندهم في كينيا وفي المحيط ديالهم. وكذلك أشارت إلى أن كيخدموا على أنشطة على ديال التربية المستدامة أو التعليم حول التنمية المستدامة اللي كيديروا فيه مشاريع كذلك مشاريع مرتبطة بالثقافة ومشاريع مرتبطة بالتبادل الثقافي واللي كيحاولوا فيها أنهم يبينوا الغنى والإرث الثقافي اللي عندهم في كينيا. هذا باختصار اللي قالته جوديث. Back to you, Robin.
Thank you so much, Aziz. So Sibo, over to you. We would love to hear what you guys would like to contribute today.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Sibo Mugisha Jada Masemba. Feel to call me Sibo. I'm very, very happy to join this session today and also meeting new faces here, as well as we are continuing our session, our artistic program, because that is what we do, and also and also producing some product in art. Yeah. For those who doesn't know me, I am a visual artist, painter, and also I always just try to give a message through my art. Yeah. Me too. I used to sing and songwriter, and I like to make the peace everywhere I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Sifu. I hope you will do just a small dance for us.
we welcome you. Just I'm also happy to be your friends, and also I welcome you just for any feedback, idea, and that is the support, and also telling others what we do. Sometimes they can buy artists, support us with the feedback, ideas. Yeah, I think as we are ending the year, now we are ending the year very well.
Sibo, you can also share maybe your LinkedIn page in the chat. Maybe you can share your LinkedIn page in the chat, Sibo.
The computer that I'm using will not allow me for that.
I will share it for you.
Okay. And also for Facebook.
I will share it for you. Thank you so much. And Sifu, AVD forever, and Happy New Year. while we are waiting for Karen to speak, you will please get a rap for us, a New Year rap, so that you can sing us out with a New Year song. It would be amazing, please. Okay. Thank you, thank you. And Karima, are you able to speak again, or are you still battling with your sound?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Robin. I would just like to say something. When we met Sibu, he was only 19, and we have been witnessing how he and Espoir and all these young, marvelous people have been growing Omucho art experience, and how we love them, and we consider them our hope and our inspiring young people. I'm sure that Omucho art will grow more and more and more, and I'm really proud to be their dada, as they call me. And now I will leave the floor to. So, do you want to give us something? I mean, a song or a dance of love to
perhaps we can close with that, Karima.
Okay, we will close with that. So
Let's
now, yeah, okay. I will give the floor to Dr. Karen Ramlachar for sharing her experience and knowledge about her work in education, leadership, inclusion, and diversity and cross-cultural work that she has been doing. Karen, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. I think what I will do is, I'm very thankful to be here and to just listen in and to hear all the amazing stories of transformation in schooling systems in different countries in Africa, in different localities. So I will share what I really quickly, so I know they're short on time, in relation to what I heard today and how they all come together really nicely in terms of being actionable steps to take and in relation to what research is talking about and what we're seeing from my perspective as a researcher and in the work that I do. So I will connect both together really quickly. So I will share very quickly my screen. Not everything on the slides I will be discussing, but many of which, if you take a glance at, you will already see was discussed and talked about. So just give me one moment and I will share very quickly. Are you able to see my slides? Just checking. I'll go through really quickly what a few items on here.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, it's actually a little bit weird on my screen at the moment, but I will go ahead and do my best with this. So really quickly, in relation to the overview, I shared a very brief introduction, but I wanted to talk about really the importance of collaborating and emphasizing learning from and with others whose viewpoints and also their interpretations are different, because that opens up possibilities for thoughtful and complex interrogations or questioning of issues that we're facing. And so it is also contextualized based on where you are. So those issues that you talk about, when you bring in people who have different backgrounds and value systems and viewpoints and cultures and heritage, we learn from and with each other so we can understand this information to then do something about that. And also the importance of critical thinking and problem-solving solutions in very creative ways, which we heard many different ways have been represented today and shared and is being done in a community way. Because then that informs how do we do transformational systems in schools and school systems in places that we're in. While we are all in different locations and have different, things that we're grappling with our education systems, there's so many connectivities that we can see from what was being said. So there are three different areas I'll discuss: the valuing of diversity and cross-cultural engagement, and really thinking about not doing so in a superficial, surface level way, but very deeply engaging with the local communities, with the regional people, and that could be countries as well, if you're looking at different regions of the African continent. And then also how that ties in relation to global issues, because oftentimes we have things like globalization and neoliberal educational systems that are restricting what we're doing in systems, and also, you know, the value systems that are engaged with that. So when we're thinking about really valuing local knowledges and systems, look at the examples we saw today and the amazing things that's being done with, and please forgive me if I pronounce the name incorrectly, Adonayo and Esther, and talking about how they bring in communities and cultures, people from rural areas and city areas, and go deeper about how do we learn from and with each other in this, and valuing this, the ways that we are all coming together to learn together. And also not taking the role of, I'm the teacher, I'm the power, I'm the person of power, but we're learning together. So I'm learning from you. So thinking about it in that way as well. And then understanding politics of belonging, because part of this work is thinking about who gets to be that belonging, that centralized focus, and then who are the others that we bring in to include. Those dynamics are something to think about, but how do you break those dynamics down and really embrace cultural people and experiences? That's one of those things to think about. The next thing is, oh, where's the slide? Sorry.
Karen, could I quickly ask if we could have a pause just for Aziz to capture?
Oh, sorry, I was going
Not at
quick
all.
because I know of time. I apologize.
That's all right. But just a kind of few secs, Aziz, if you are able.
Okay, I will try to sum it up
The essence.
in a few words. Yes, exactly. Because I'm so sorry. I had something to do at the same time, and just got a little bit of the book. But generally speaking, كارين, thank you so much. كارين تحدثت كذلك على كيفاش العمل ديالهم كينصب حول التنوع الثقافي والحوار ما بين الثقافات المختلفة، وكيفاش كيحاول أنه ينشر القيم ديال التعدد والحوار ما بين الثقافات كما قلنا. ذكرت في الأخير شي حاجة اللي بصراحة صراحة well, I'm sorry, I have a problem remembering a few ideas from the speech, but what we can do is once Karen has finished, yeah, I can go back and translate everything. Yes, just one thing because it's very very important. النقطة اللي مهمة اللي تحدثت عليها كارين. So I just forgot, but now I remember what I wanted to say. النقطة المهمة اللي تحدثت عليها كارين هي نقطة مهمة بصراحة، هي القوة، هي كيفاش كننظروا للقوة، أن واش حنا مستعدين أننا نحاولوا نضرب بطريقة يعني فكر نقدي التحليل ديالنا كيفاش كنشوفوا القوة، وأن القوة راه ماشي عند مثلا الأستاذ هو اللي عنده القوة، ولا الليدر يعني المدير، أو لا الناس اللي عندهم لا بوزيسيون ديال ليدرشيب اللي هما عندهم القوة، ولكن القوة هي عندنا كاملين، هي كتجلى في التعاون ديالنا والاختلاف ديالنا والتعدد ديالنا، هي اللي كتعطينا القوة. فإذا في هذه نظرة يعني مختلفة كيفاش كنشوفوا، ما عرفتش شكون نسميوهم حنا، كنسميوها السلطة حنايا عندنا في المغرب، يعني القوة يعني هي السلطة، يعني واش عندك السلطة على شي واحد. فهذه فكرة اللي ربما أنا ناقشتها مؤخرا مع التلاميذ ديالي ومع الطلبة ديالي، كيفاش كيشوفوا السلطة، ولا كيفاش كنشوف أنا مثلا كأستاذ كيفاش كنظر للسلطة، واش أنا عندي السلطة على الآخرين. That's it. Thank you. You can go on.
Okay, thank you. The next part is understanding the complexity. And so really thinking about how you disrupt traditional notions of schooling and what we think about schooling. So things such as westernized approaches and legacies of colonization, and how that impacts what we're doing in schools, not only through structures, but also at the local community level. And, you know, that example of the danger of a single story, I used the TED Talk video in my own teaching and for my master's and doctoral students, and we engage deeper what that means in our communities here. So it's very important that you see that also I use curriculum that goes outside of the US focus, but thinking about that. And then also thinking about, what are these conceptions of leadership? And I think with Sibu and is it Amayusio? I apologize again for the pronunciation, but Sibu and his colleagues, and the leadership they have taken on to build an arts-based community that values languages and brings people's cultures together in a different art form. If we were to think about that in school systems, how do we break down this notion of leadership of being only people who have a degree in educational leadership, or who are principals or district leaders, or whatever titles are given in your places, but to think about leadership more inclusive of community leaders, of students, of children, of families, and how when we bring those people together and we view them and value their systems as a role in leadership, and a central role in leadership, then systems change. Then there's transformation that values heritage, community, and all of the things we've been talking about, because we see the value. You all demonstrated the value today, and that is something to really disrupt, is this notion of what is leadership and what is our notion of schooling, and thinking about that from breaking down systems that have been part of legacies, such as colonization. Can I move on really quick, the last slide, or is this enough? Okay, and the last bit is really the importance of using creativity and critical thinking, what many people talked about. And I believe there's someone at the beginning, I don't know if it was Michael, I apologize again, who mentioned using digital storytelling in classes and really engaging in creative ways to build relationships in our classrooms, and think about what that means for students and how they will connect and learn and keep that learning as part of their as they grow into different areas of their education. But also think of that too for those professors in here, what that means when you're also engaging with your learners who are adult learners as well. So really thinking about that. And so I just leave with saying, how have you used creativity and problem solving issues in classrooms and school systems? And why is it important to disrupt our thinking about why, only certain ways of doing something, instead using our capacities to think outside of what is traditionally known or thought about or even philosophized. So that's one of those things. And I just wanted to point out that there is a book that I've co-edited with some faculty in the UK, and we engage with creativity in education through international perspectives from scholars all over the world. It will come out in January 2024, and it is open access. So that means anyone can access it freely online. So you don't have to pay to buy this book, but you can use it and see what happens, what creativity means in education systems in different countries around the world, and then how that can be applied in other countries as well, or maybe not. But it really engages a critical thinking about what creativity means in educational systems. So I wanted to point that out, and it is free to access when it comes out, so anyone can utilize this information. And that's it. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Karen.
I'm so happy to be here with you all today.
Thank you, Karen. That is fantastic. We really appreciate that overview. I don't know if you can stop the share there. I'm going to just stop it.
Just very quickly, Robin.
Yes.